Hey everybody, Z Garcia here, and today I'm taking a look at a small roll and write game called Calavera. This one is a Yahtzee style game in which you're going to be rolling dice that have different colors as well as little skulls and little roses. You are going to be having your own sheet of paper that you're filling in from left to right, trying to hit the sweet spot and not go over it. The closer you get to that line, the higher your possible score. But if you go over it, the scores will tumble precipitously, and you might end up losing the game. It's very simple and straightforward. There is some interaction with the players where they might have to take a color on your turn. You might or might not want them to do that. So let's go ahead and take a look at it, and we'll come on back. I'll tell you what I think of it. To set up the game, you're going to give each player something to write with, one of these sheets from the pad here. And they are double-sided. They're all identical. So one of these, and then we've got the dice here, and you can use the box as a little tray if you would like. Starting with the start player, you're going to be taking turns around and around the table, rolling these dice until somebody around the table has locked all four of their lines. When that happens, everybody is done, and then you figure out your victory points. You are going to be making X's, making marks in these spaces as you collect these four different colors. Moving your way this way, ideally ending somewhere in this sweet spot right here. For example, if you end up on this column, you're going to get 10 victory points. If you go past it, you'll drop off and could possibly even get negative points over here. And you're also getting points for bringing all of your colors up to this line first. If you do that, you get 4 points, or 5 or 6 up to these. If you do it after the first person who did it, you're going to get fewer points. You add up this to these bonuses, and that's your final score. So let me go ahead and show you what this might look like. Let's say it's my turn to roll. I'm going to grab all these dice, and I'm going to roll Yahtzee style, okay? So any skulls that I get, I have to lock. I cannot re-roll those. And there are 4 colors, roses, and skulls. So now I could stop or I could re-roll. Let's say I keep these 2 roses, and I re-roll these. And this is what I get. Great. And I could roll again. Let's say I'm going to do it one more time. There we go. That's what I get. That's my final roll. Now I am going to pick a color and mark that color in. So for example, if I do the 2 pink, I'm going to mark in 1 there, an X there, and there. The roses, however, are wild, so I can make them any color I want to, but I cannot combine them with something. I cannot say, oh, I'm going to make the roses teal or green and combine it with this one, and that's 3. They're their own thing. So if I want to, I can say, okay, 2 yellow, and I would mark 2 yellow there, okay? Which, in fact, I'll just say I did that. 2 yellow, like so. Every other player is going to take a color. I remove these, by the way. Every other player is going to pick a color and mark that color, and they do not exclude any other of the players from taking it, so everybody else could take pink, for example. But they only do that if I rolled at least 1 skull. So if I rolled 1 or I rolled 2 skulls, then they do that, and they have to take a color if they can, and they'll mark it in, okay? If, however, I rolled 3 skulls, then I get nothing at all, and the other players have to take a color. So you have to be careful. If you push your luck too much or get particularly unlucky, then you'll get nothing yourself. Also, if you rolled no skulls at all, then nobody else gets anything. So I could do this roll, let's say, get 3 of these, mark them in, 1, 2, 3, and nobody else gets anything because there are no skulls there. And then it'll be the next player, and they will roll. The roses, besides being wild, are also used to lock a color. So let's say I have yellow all the way up to here. If I get 2 roses, I may choose to remove them and circle this one, and I've locked that color there. I can no longer take that color. It will not advance anymore. And I've guaranteed myself 5 points there. If it goes past this line here, you can do it on the 8 or the 10 victory point column, but it costs 3 roses. If you ever go above that space, so let's say I have quite a few pinks here, and I either have to take more because I rolled them, or an opponent is forcing me to take, say, 3 pink. Then I would take 1, 2, 3, and anything over here in this gray area, immediately, once I'm done taking them all, gets locked. Okay? So if I stop right here, if it had only been 1 and 2, I would have still gotten 4 points. As it is right now, I'm going to get nothing, and if it had been 1 more, I even lose points. Once all 4 columns are locked, all 4 colors for any player, then everybody else, let's say, I got all of these done. This one made it to there, and this one made it to, let's go in here, and then somebody else was able to lock all 4 of their colors, then I'm still going to get these bonuses. And let's say I was the first one to get to this line with all my colors, and I was the second one to get to this one with all my colors, right? So I'm going to figure out what my final score is. And again, you get the score even if you didn't lock it, as long as the game is over. So I'm getting 5, 0, 4, and 8. That is 12 here, 17. So, you can just do this. 5, nothing, 4, and 8. That's 17 there. And then over here I'm getting 4 and 3, which is 7. And then I just write out my final score here and figure out who the winner is. So there you go. That's how the game works. Again, the skulls force other players to take a color from the ones you left behind, not the one you took. That's going to do it for Calavera. That's the game. As you can see, very straightforward, simple, and some people might even consider it simplistic. But I like this little game. I don't love it. I like it. I think it's a nice, quick little 20-minute distraction when I want to play something like this, when I want to have a little fun with rolling dice, pushing my luck, and I want to sprinkle on top of it a little being mean to the other players, because this is one of the few roll and writes, especially in this form factor, a small, quick one, that actually has some of that interaction. Normally, this kind of game, if they're good, they let you certainly do things on other players' turns, but they're not normally things you don't want to do. And this one manages to bring a little bit of that to the table. You can look around and go, ooh, if I take this color, I'm sticking you with yellow or whatever, which you definitely don't want, because it's going to push you past where you want to be. And I enjoy that. I thought that was very interesting. It's not that mean, and it might not even happen very frequently, but it's neat that it's in there, and it works well. It manages to pack some of that, different emotions in an interesting 20-minute package. And for that, I'm glad that this is one that's available, and I can bring out of my pocket, bring out of a backpack, and immediately throw down and play. I like the form factor, like I said. The dice, I'm a little worried about. They are screen printed, and I do worry that if the game is played a lot, they will wear off. And there's also a little color matching issue. One of the dice has a pink face that is very different from the other pinks. It's like red. The other ones are pink, which is fairly minor, but, be aware of that. So there you go. That's the game. For me, this one's going to get a 6 out of 10. I like it. I don't love it, like I said. It does play quickly. I think it scales well, which most roll and writes do. And I would certainly recommend it if you want something that is punchy and fast and can be a little mean. So there you go. That is Calavera. Check this one out, folks, if you want something that fits that, checks that box, But for me, yeah, like I said, 6 out of 10. And that's going to do it, everybody. My name is Z Garcia. I'll see you on the next one.